Which one was tougher, you say?
I think they're all tough in their own way. The level of fulfillment after the first world title was very special to me. It felt like a dream. It felt like weight lifted from my shoulders after you're being recognized as the world champion, right? So, and I told myself when I was young, I said, I gotta be champion by the time I'm 21, 24 at the latest. And yeah, I did it at 24.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. All right, Jesse Vargas here today, professional boxer, man. Now you're turning a new chapter in your life, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. What's up, Sean?
Absolutely, dude. Great to see you, dude.
Yeah, same here. Man, what can I say? It's a pleasure to be here. You know, I've had a good life, thankfully, and still very young, so we still got a bright future ahead.
Yeah, quite the career, man, and it sounds like you're still mentally sharp, which is great, because with certain fighters, you see them kind of lose that, you know what I mean, once they retire.
Yeah, that's what they say, man. They say that. I'm just glad that I'm in a position where, you know, I have numerous opportunities in front of me, or I can jump onto new opportunities in the future.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever it is that I want to pursue, I guess that has become complicated for other athletes. And, you know, I'm just grateful. I think overall I blame it all on my family, right? That's giving them all the feedback from me as a child, as not a child, but as their child, right? Because no matter how old you are, you always be your parents' child. But at the end of the day, it was. I mean, I thank them for everything that they've done, because they made me into the man I am now.
Yeah, talk to me about that family dynamic, especially growing up early. Did you have their support in boxing from day one?
I did. I mean, my father understood that I had to be occupied after school. And he told me, you know what, Jesse, you got to pick an after school activity. I started with soccer. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't a big fan of running pretty often. Once I noticed that in soccer, it's not you're not only running when you're playing soccer, but you're also running in the training sessions. I thought, man, this is a lot. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I finished it. I did well, had fun, but it was too much work. Went into Taekwondo. We didn't fight enough. I mean, I advanced like orange belt, but we wouldn't spar much. We wouldn't fight much. I thought, you know what, this is boring. Because I wanted to be like Van Damme. Right at that time, it was Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was in Bloodsport. I was like, yo, that's cool. I want to be like him. But there wasn't enough action for it in me. So then my dad, I asked him, hey, Dad, I don't want this. I want to do something else. He took me to boxing. And after that, my father, he bought a documentary once he saw that I was intrigued with the sport, right? A documentary on Julio Cesar Chavez. And it showed everything that he had accomplished, you know, how he was able to purchase a home for his mother through boxing, made it into business, right? I thought, wow, you can do this, and you could, I mean, I love it, so it's great, but you can make money off of it. You can take care of your family. You can make sure they don't ever have to worry about working a day in their life as well. So that's what I want. I want to be a world champion. I want to be famous. And yeah, thankfully, I accomplished it. 2-division world champion now. And, you know, I've had numerous opportunities in front of me, thankfully.
Yeah, 2 divisions, man. That's crazy. So that's 2 different weight classes?
Yeah, 2 different weight classes. I was champion at 140 pounds and then again at 147 pounds.
Wow.
So thankfully, it went well for me.
Which one was tougher, you'd say?
Good question. I think they're all tough in their own way. But I'd say the level of fulfillment after the first world title was very special to me. It was hard to make the weight. It was a good fight, and it felt like a dream. It felt like weight lifted from my shoulders after you're being recognized as the world champion, right?
You worked your whole life.
Yeah, the whole life, man. I did it at 24, and honestly, it just was very special. And I told myself when I was young, I said, I got to be champion by the time I'm 21, 24 at the latest, at the very latest. And yeah, I did it at 24.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible,
man. It was
man.
amazing, man.
And was that fight the full, 12 rounds?
It went the full 12 rounds. Yeah, I was fighting an undefeated Russian. His name is Khabib Nurmagomedov. He was a tough fighter. He had just beat Joan Guzman for 2 different titles, the IBO world title and the WBA world title. And yeah, I just had those 2 straps on my shoulders, and I remember just looking up and wow, like it's done.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my father's been there every step of the way. He's always supported me, as we talked about earlier. And he's the reason why I'd say that, you know, I was able to be successful through a lot of the input that I've gotten from him. I mean, early on, I was going to stop boxing at the age of 15, 15 and a half, almost 16. I wanted to work. I wanted to make my own money. I was always very proud proud over like what I had.
Right.
And I told my dad, I think I'm gonna quit because I want to start working. I want to start making money. I want to take my girlfriend to the movies. And my father says, Jesse, but you love doing this. And I tell him, Dad, I want to make money. I don't want to keep asking you for money, right, to take it to the movies. Jesse, listen, you have two opportunities here, okay? You could follow your dream and make money off of it, all right? Because you're really good. Like I'm looking at the other athletes, the other fighters, they're not as good as you. Everything comes easy to you. You should think about it. And he tells me this, Jesse, just think about it like this. All right, do you want to work the rest of your life, right, and having to follow orders from somebody else? Because that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to work by somebody else. You're going to have to follow their orders, whatever they want. You're going to have a bad day, a good day, doesn't matter. Or do you want to follow your dream? You want to make tons of money, retire early, and then never have to work a day in your life? And that made me think. I don't know what brought him to that idea, to explaining that to me, but it was so perfect and exactly what I needed to hear. And ever since then, I mean, I just kept going. I never stopped.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
You had that commitment. How long were you undefeated for?
Man, I was undefeated all the way until 20. I'm not happy with that fight, but 25. Yeah, so I became world champion. I defended it. Then I jumped up a division to welterweight. Yeah. And I remember that fight very well, very vividly. I wasn't winning. I remember that fight. I just couldn't get off, man. It was strange.
Felt off?
Yeah, dude. That was like one of my fights, one of my only fights where I would say that fight I was just off. Like my timing was off. Like I was trying to let my punches go, but I couldn't. It was so strange, man. Everything was delayed.
Do you think you overtrained and your body was kind of giving out a bit?
That could have been it. Tell you what, this was my first time training in elevation, high elevation. I trained in Mount Charleston. And some people would tell me, leave 2 weeks before, right? That way you can acclimatize to the weather down here. Right. I said, no, I feel great. I feel good. And I did. I felt fantastic. So I stayed there all the way to like just 1 week before the fight when I took off to LA. And that could have been it, man. I think I could have been overtrained. Wow. I can't prove it because I never went back to get that same feeling, right? I just said, I'm never going back to elevation again. It was just frustrating. But I was losing the fight, and I knew it. So coming into the 12th round, I thought, all right, well, I'm losing this fight. I just got to get him with one big punch. Yeah. And I come in, and I'm like, I get hit a couple of times, and I found it. Somehow I found that big shot. Landed right on his chin. Damn. Had him out. He was dancing all over the place. And I'm going on the attack. Bah, bah. And then he grabs me. And when he grabs me, I'm still punching. The referee comes in. And he waves it off. I'm like, yeah. So I'm out there, just screaming. Oh, my God. It was an exciting moment. Yeah. I was up on the ropes. And then, like, 3 minutes later, I see a lot of commotion in the ring. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Apparently, the referee later on, he says, well, I thought I heard the 10-second clicker. 10-second clickers, they do this. Like right after when the round is going to finish, 10 seconds remaining, they do the clickers. And then the bell. Well, he stopped it in 10 seconds. And he said, it's because I thought I heard the bell ring. And he stole that from me. What? Yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, so I was, at that time, I was 25. Damn. It was frustrating, man.
So how did you overcome? Mentally, that must have really messed you up, right?
You know what? I try not to. It was frustrating, but I try not to let it get to me. And everything negative, I try to turn it into a positive. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna become world champion again. Well, I actually fought the case. I paid lawyers to get on that case and to fight it for me with the California State Athletic Commission to change the decision. Damn. Because we never finished the fight. They never let me continue. They stopped the fight with 8 seconds remaining, and he was hurt. He was done. And then we never finished the 8 seconds. Right. So I was very frustrated. Actually, I don't even talk about that fight because it's frustrating. Damn. But I want to share that here. That happened. Unfortunately, they couldn't change the decision. My lawyers, weren't successful in that area. And I just said, all right, I'll just keep moving forward. And the WBO, which was the title that we were fighting for in that fight, they saw the issues at hand at that time. So when they said, tell you what, Jesse, we're going to give you another opportunity to fight for the world title against Saddam Ali. Saddam Ali was a guy that no one wanted to fight with at that time. And
how come?
He was tough. He was a tough fighter. He was an Olympian, a U.S. Olympian, very athletic, talented athlete, fast, quick, explosive, elusive. He was great, and I knew what I was in front of. So I thought, yeah, this guy's good. So I got to take this serious. And I prepared, man. I think that was the best preparation I've ever had. And that's been the best performance I've ever had. Wow. Because mentally and physically, like, I was determined, focused. Like, there was no way I was going to lose that fight.
Right.
I was so angry what had happened in the previous fight, the first loss. So I thought that's not happening again. And it's been my best performance to date. I mean, I visualized it. We practiced it over and over again, and it worked out just as I thought. I mean, a couple little mistakes that maybe I didn't see in mine beforehand, but everything turned out.
You won
pretty
that
well.
fight?
I did. I won by knockout.
Damn.
Yeah, I won by knockout. I mean, it was sensational, honestly, and it was fantastic.
Incredible. And then from there, you fought Manny shortly after that, right?
Yeah, we fought for that belt.
Okay.
Yeah, so I won the WBO world title in that fight against Adam Ali, and then he came back. He beat Miguel Cotto after I beat him. So I mean, he's a good fighter, great fighter, because Miguel Cotto is one of the greatest Puerto Rican fighters there's ever been. And then you have me fighting Manny Pacquiao, and we went for a 12-round decision. He was fast, man. Very experienced. I remember that very well.
The power was there, or just the speed mainly?
To be honest with you, it was the speed that I think became difficult for me to really counter him,
right?
To figure him out, to put him down in one position and and get him with a counter or set him up somehow. It was just, he was hard to figure out. But I think it was his speed that really surprised me. Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't very prepared for that fight as well. I just didn't have the experience he had, and but I mean, it was a great experience. It was it was a great learning experience.
Right, that's legendary. I still remember watching him and Floyd fight when I was in high school. That was like a big deal. I think it broke PPV records.
You did?
And I wanted him to win, but Floyd won, I think, both times.
Yeah, well, I mean, Floyd, he's I mean, they call him the best ever, right? I think he's defensively the best ever, and he knows how to pick his moments, right? He fights in spurts, and he makes sure that whenever you're trying to set him up, he's using that against you.
Right.
And he can identify that pretty quickly. Yeah, he's great. And he's my first promoter, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
Floyd's my first promoter. He's great, man. He's a great guy. He takes care of his fighters well. He took care of me well.
Nice.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a second contract going after that. Just a lot of things were in the middle of it. He was going through a few other circumstances at that time, which led us to delay the next signing. And so then I just got impatient.
I feel that.
Somebody else, yeah.
He's on the older side now, right? He's almost 50.
Yeah.
Do you think you could take him one-on-one?
Too, as a fighter, we think that we can take on everybody. But Floyd is very intelligent. I mean, he's 50 now, so you got to keep that in mind. I'm a lot younger. But he's going to fight Manny Pacquiao again in an exhibition.
I saw that. Who do you got winning that one?
I think Floyd takes it.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a good one. Again, I mean, they're both a little older. Manny hasn't been in the ring in a while. I think he's going to do an exhibition soon in Thailand or something, right?
Yeah, we'll see how he looks in that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. But who would I pick over that? I'd say Floyd has more in him.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm gonna go with Floyd. I mean, 50-0, dude. It's hard to bet against that.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, I want to dive into the issue with baby mamas. You got an interesting take on this in regards to baby mamas with professional athletes, and you probably even witnessed this, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, me being a professional athlete and successful at that one, I've been able to learn from others' mistakes. Right? It's never easy once you're in that situation. You got to pick the right one. I mean, having kids out of wedlock is very, very difficult, not only for athletes, everyone in general, and for the child, most importantly. I think who's it more difficult for is for the child in the long run, right? Because if they don't have good co-parenting skills, good communication, the child is later on going to have, some type of resentment against either one or the other, right. Whether it be because of the truth or because of the lies. Yeah, it's tough. But overall in athletes, that I can talk about, and I'd say, we definitely we jump the gun sometimes. Having kids too early, we don't take care of each other as much in that area, right? I would suggest for all athletes to make sure to be patient and make sure that you pick the right one. That when you have a child, it's because you're ready to settle down, because you've found a woman who you want to spend the rest of your life with. I know it sounds cheesy, it sounds right, not like it's coming from a professional athlete, but in reality, that's the truth. I've learned it, right, from personal experience, from my friends' experiences. There's nothing better than waiting for the right one and having your kids at the right time. Again, the kids, they're the ones losing at the end. They're the ones that are mainly going through trouble. as they grow up because you weren't ready or she wasn't ready or because the baby mama is trying to take advantage of the pockets that the other guy has or vice versa. You know, if the woman is the money maker and the guy's trying to get the money, either way it goes, I'd say that you got to understand that when you date somebody when an athlete is dating, how can I put it in a nice way? Yeah. Tell you what, you gotta, it's just hard. It's a hard subject to touch, but I'll give you an example. There was a friend of mine who, very close friend of mine, and we're speaking, and he's telling me his issues. He's like, man, my baby mama, she called me crying, telling me not to take the child away from her, right? And I'm never going to do that. I told her since I was a kid, that's what he says. I told her that, I want her to spend time with you and with me, with both. And then the only deal here is for you never to take my child away from me. Right? They never had nothing in papers. The child, I don't know, she must be 5-6 years old at that
just
time.
a verbal agreement?
Yeah. And so they go to court later on after they had that conversation. Again, this woman called him crying, right? I can't, please don't take my child away, because the child was with him from Monday through Friday, and every now and then on Saturday and Sunday she'd be with her mom, right?
Got it.
For some reason, all the way to when she was 6 months to like five and a half, she was with the dad basically, 85% of the time. And so the dad, my friend at that time, he says, of course, I'm not gonna take my daughter away from you. Don't worry about that. And they went to court. He gave her everything. He gave her. He thought he was doing co-parenting, but he gave her all the rights. He gave her full control.
Wow.
Yeah, just like that. Like, it's fine. I mean, just let me see my daughter, and that's it. And shortly after, like 8 months after, like, no, you're not seeing your daughter today.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it started like that, and then he would tell me, and I'd feel bad for him. I said, man, just be patient, and talk to her, and then later on, she's asking for more money and more money, and then always trying to go for him for more money. It's like it's all she does, because I mean, she wasn't well off, right? She had a hard job. And
are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? We'll click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
She grew up in poverty. She was already left with another baby daddy, and the baby daddy left and just left her to take care of that child. So basically, she wasn't doing well financially. So at the end of the day, everything she does from that point on, once she got that moneymaker, like everything she learned, she researched, how can I take advantage of him? How can I get more money? This is a person that was calling, crying, please don't do it. Of course not. The guy says, no, it's fine, it's fine.
Money changes people, man.
Boom. Yeah, it may sound like a boring story, but it just shows you how people can change so quickly and easily for money.
Yeah.
Right? And I think we athletes have to make sure that when we do commit to having a child, it's because we're ready to settle down. We're ready to have a relationship with this woman, and she knows exactly where we're coming from. She knows that, all right, we're going to be busy making the money, but we need you at home, or whatever the case you have with her.
Yeah.
Right? If you work, all right, who's going to babysit my child? Everything has to be planned out to perfection, because, I mean, I think, in my point of view, as a professional athlete and as a man in life, the biggest fulfillment in life is to be able to have a family, and then have your children, in my point of view, have your children want to come back when they're 20, 25, 28, like calling your dad, would you like to go grab coffee? Why don't we hang out? Whatever the case is, right? I mean, to me, that's the biggest fulfillment in life, is that's when you did a good job with your family.
That's a good sign, and that's so true, because some people after college, they never come home, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they never come home, and, that's thankfully that's not my case, right? But again, I've seen numerous situations where things don't go as perfectly as they thought.
Yeah, it's tough, man, especially for pro athletes, because they got hundreds, thousands of girls hitting them up on social media, and it's tempting, right? Because they all look good, but like you said, you got to pick the right one.
You got to pick the right one, man. And after a while, I'm sure a lot of athletes seen this already, but you see a beautiful girl here, there. I mean, after a while, it's just like, all right, well, they're all beautiful, but what's different? Like, let's understand them for who they are as a person. Let's enjoy their company.
Right.
That's the most important thing in my point of view. But that's probably me. I see it now because, I'm a little older, wiser. But when I was young, I just wanted to have fun, hang out here, hang out there.
Yeah.
And, well, fun and focus on my career. So I'd focus on my career, but on my off time, I hung out with friends, and of course I dated.
Yeah.
I have my own beautiful child as well. So I've been living, and now I understand. All right, you know what? These are my errors here. All right, how can I better them? How can I make sure not to make that same mistake? And that's in the position that I'm in now. I mean, I lived life very quickly, right? I've learned a lot in the process. I had a lot of success. I've made a lot of mistakes also, right? I don't want to say downfalls, but I'd say I've had a lot of, a situation where I just learn from and make sure to make me a better man.
Yeah. You said you've learned more in the past 4 years than your whole life, right? I'd love to dive into that.
Yeah, man. I mean, going back to what we were saying, that I focused on the gym, becoming a world champion. Every now and then, hang out with my friends, becoming world champion again, fighting for another world title, getting the biggest fights possible. What's the biggest money? What biggest purse in the next fight? It's all business. All right, let's have some fun. All right, business. All right, let's have some fun. All right, but through that business matter, it was only my father, myself, of course, my mother, so almost family, and that's it. And then every now and then, I'd hang out with some friends. That's the occasion of having fun. So then, once I'm not fighting as often, I'm not focused on fighting anymore. That's like 2020. All right, I'm having some fun. I'm meeting a lot of people. I'm going out a lot more than I used to. So, at that time, I start meeting new people and just getting new friends. I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. Oh, this guy's cool. He's my friend. Oh,
Yeah.
what's up, man? What's up? And we start seeing each other very often. But man, in that process, I've learned so much, because some people are gonna rip you off. Not rip you. I don't want to use that word. Some people will use you to make money. Some people will trick you to make money off of you.
Yep.
Some people will lie to you. Some people will say something that they're not. And so many things kind of, for me, just made me open my eyes, like, oh, this is the real world.
Real world.
This is the real world. I mean, if you're not on top of it, you're going to be left with nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when I realized, okay, this is what my dad's been talking about. This is what my dad is so private. This is what my dad, is somewhat exclusive. It's all right. He's wise. So why don't I use that experience and then take it up, step it up a notch?
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I hope I don't make any more mistakes, but that's not a part of life, right? Yeah,
life.
Exactly.
Mistakes are necessary, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say next, actually.
Yeah.
Because I've learned the most through my mistakes, right? So once you commit the actual mistake yourself, you're thinking, all right, well, you know what? Let me make sure not to do that again. And then you go from there, and I'd say, man, it's been a tough 4 years, but it made me grow up quick, man. Again, I mean, as an athlete, you'll focus on, your sport, and then my boys know, my friends know, like, it's having fun. I mean, football players, fighters, there's some rare occasions like Son of God, which is Andre Ward.
Yeah.
He's very, very disciplined at all times, but he retired undefeated.
Wow.
And he made lucrative paychecks. So, I mean, that's the reason why he's where he is, right? I mean, again, I've had ups and downs, but, that explains to me why, right? Because going back to him, he retired undefeated, and that explains why. He was very focused, determined, never let his foot off the gas. I had ups and downs, I'd say, because there was times where I wasn't as focused when I should have been. Right. And my dad always told me, Jesse, you got to make sure you stay focused. Come on, man. And he's always on my case. And as you grow up, you get to understand, okay, that's what my dad was talking about. That's what, or not just your dad, it could be somebody that just, wants to influence you in the right way. And then you'll understand later in life through the experiences that you commit.
Absolutely. And I think to get to the top of any space, whether it's boxing, business, entertainment, how much are you willing to sacrifice? You know what I mean?
That's the question.
If you're willing to sacrifice almost everything, you'll have a good chance of getting to the top.
100%. Yeah, that's well said. Well said. I mean, once you commit to it and you put everything else aside, you can accomplish it. But then again, you got to see you got to ask yourself, how important is it for me to accomplish this? Because everything else is going to have to wait in the meantime.
Yeah.
It's very hard to divide time between one career and another. That's another thing that I've learned also. I was trying to fight and then do other things at the same time. And unfortunately, I wasn't successful at either.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, it is. It is a full-time job. And then once you start dividing both careers or, juggle both things, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and you see people that go after so many different business opportunities at the same time, and they just follow the money, but it usually doesn't pan out because they're not focused.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Unfortunately for some, but I mean, again, if, I'm focusing a little more time just to kind of help others, right? And hopefully, my experiences others can learn from, and just kind of keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take on this influencer boxing wave? Because you're a pro boxer, so I'm curious how you feel about it.
Tell you what, man. With certain influencers, I enjoy it myself. I'll watch it and check them out, but we just got to understand two things: is there's a difference between the fighters that are influencers who come into boxing, and then actual world champion fighters or actual fighters that have been doing it all their life. Is two different categories, right? Because it's two different levels to it. These are novice athletes, novice fighters that are just getting into it. Right? You put them into the ring against a guy that's 5-0, or even 5-5, 5 wins, 5 losses, but has a extensive amateur career. He'll beat up the influencer.
Yeah.
It's just two different levels. But they're bringing in a large fan base.
Right.
And bringing in a large fan base, I'm sure, once they sell out, like KSI, I think he sold out a couple stadiums. I'm sure out of those people that attended that fight, maybe 20% actually will start watching real boxing.
Oh, it's pretty high.
Yeah, it's high, right? I would
It's
assume
higher than
so.
I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah? Well, this is just assumption. This is
Okay.
no facts. I'm just assuming, say 20% maybe. Or they'd entertain the idea of watching a professional fight.
Right.
Like, oh, we saw Logan Paul. Let's watch this one, right? Let's watch Manny Pacquiao. We should watch KSI. Let's watch this one, right? So maybe it brings in more fans. That's what I think. I think that it grows the sport. So in a way, it's good. But then again, there's fighters like Jake Paul. He's a fighter that actually I respect because he's really good. For him just to start like a few years down the line, I think he must start like in 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
For him to pick it up and do it so quickly and do it so well at this moment, I'm impressed. I applaud him for what he's doing. You can show that he's dedicated. And it goes back to what you're saying, right? You dedicate your time to one thing, you could advance pretty quickly. And that's what he's doing.
He went the full, 8 rounds with Tommy? That was impressive.
That was. I thought Tommy was going to beat him easy, but it wasn't that easy for Tommy, man. Tommy got caught.
Easy. Yeah, he got caught a couple times, right?
Yeah, and this is a guy who's been doing this since he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's not a bad fighter. He's not great, but he's not bad, right? He's good. I'd say he's a good fighter.
His dad is the GOAT, though, right?
Yeah.
Nuts.
His dad is something else. And his brother, of course, I think he has the chance of going down as the best heavyweight fighter. Maybe not ever, but because you got Muhammad Ali. But, man, he's a great fighter. He's so big. He must be like close to 280 or something.
I think if he wins a couple more, he's probably there, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. He's elusive. He's so big and heavy, and he looks a little chubby, but this guy can hit.
Yeah.
This guy's fast. He can move lightly on his feet. I think he's one of my favorite heavyweight fighters, although his last fight wasn't as entertaining as I expected it to be.
Yeah.
He fought against Ngannou, and Ngannou put him down.
He did.
Yeah, that's
People
the thing.
thought Ngannou won that fight.
Yeah, a lot of people thought so. I thought it was competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, very competitive. But, that's the thing. Even he said it himself. Tyson Fury says, man, you don't go up against Wilder, which is another fighter who he went against 3 times. You don't go up against Wilder and come out the same fighter, same guy. Like basically insinuating like after receiving some of that punishment, you can't expect to be the same guy. Like you get older, you get punched a couple of times and the chin isn't the same.
Yeah, you get some permanent damage from those knockdowns for sure.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Right? I would assume you're not as durable as you once were.
I'm curious what a brain scan would look like on some of these guys, man.
Yeah, man, that'd be interesting. Well, I know they've done some on football players.
Yeah.
Because they're just as bad.
Even worse, some of them.
Yeah, because you got two guys that weigh 250, 300 pounds, and they collide head to head. Head to head isn't as common; it's illegal, right? But I'm sure it happens from time to time in practice or in some of the games when they collide face to face or head to head. Man, I could just imagine the neurons that are being shaken up in that area. Man. That's a lot of weight. That's a big impact. A lot of concussions.
For sure.
In that sport. Boxing as well.
Did you get any?
Thankfully not.
Wow.
Yeah, thankfully not. Man. Yeah, I've been. My dad always incentivized me to have a good defense in my sport.
Yeah.
And he was adamant about it, and I guess it worked out.
That's probably why you can articulate so well still, because most boxers get tons of concussions.
Yeah, thank you, man. I push it over to my dad and say, man, I give him the credit, right? I mean, because I just like to fight. I remember as a young kid, no, not even young kid. I mean, when I was a teenager, when I was early pros, I was a savage, man. I remember that. I just come up and say, all right, I'm hurt this guy. Literally, I come up and I hit him hard. Every time I hit him, I feel in my fist. I'm like, yeah.
Damn. You were a psychopath out there.
Yeah, and I look at him and I kind of like, even when I got him with a good punch, I kind of nod my face. Like, you felt that. You know?
Playing mind games, too.
Yeah, I did that at times as well.
Wow. So you had a lot of anger as a kid.
That's a good question, actually. You know what? I didn't.
Oh, yeah?
No, but then again, maybe it was boxing what got it out of me.
Okay.
Right? So I recall just being quiet, firm, whatever I say goes. Or no, not like, I guess not that bad, but you know, just I was firm, I was quiet, right? And how can I say?
Were you like stubborn?
Because I went to the gym every day.
Okay.
Monday through Friday and sometimes on Saturdays. But Saturday and Sunday, for the most part, I'd work with my father. He had a little store, and I'd work with him. That's how I learned how to make my money. And so I was always very busy. So it's not like I had time to be into trouble. I didn't like nobody messing with me. This is the way I was. I was quiet. I was firm. I said, nobody messes with me. I don't mess with anybody.
People respected you. You were like that quiet kid that no one messed with in school. You know what I mean?
That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was cool with everybody. So, man, just keep going, right?
Yeah.
Cool with the girls, right? It was nice. And then in the sport, I was just focused and determined. That was like my way to be out. Like talking to my friends before the workout and then get into it hard. But once I got in, I didn't like anybody talking to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that was me, man, growing up. And
I love that, Jesse. It's been fun, dude. Where can people find you?
Yeah, man. Well, Jesse Vargas _ thank you for all your support. And just be ready for what's next. Yeah, that's me.
You're commentating now, right?
Yeah, I'm commentating. I'm doing this fight actually. There's gonna be a fight this week and on Saturday. Yeah, which is gonna be a good one. They're gonna have me as a commentator. It's gonna be entertaining. So I mean, I started commentating when I was actually. It's a funny story. You have time for it?
Yeah.
So when I was 24, I was world champion at that time. I was in Macau. I was defending my world title against Antonio DeMarco, good Mexican fighter. And I remember it was so difficult for me to make weight for that fight. And I'm there. The main event is going to be Manny Pacquiao against Chris Algieri. Univision Deportes comes to me and they say, hey, Jesse, would you be able to interview Manny Pacquiao? Would that interest you? I've never done this before. But at that time, I'm thinking, how much you paying? First question, how much you paying? All right, all right, cool. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, sure, why not? At that time, I thought, it's going to keep me busy. I'm not going to think about eating. That's all I was thinking about that week. And I'm going to have to look over the script. It's perfect. All right, I'll do it. And not only did I have to interview them, I had to translate it. And then I did it really well, so much to the point that Bein Sports hired me shortly after as a commentator. Yeah, HBO hired me as a commentator. Yeah, DAZN, I worked with ESPN. So thankfully, I mean, a lot of opportunities have came, and I'm just thankful that I was able to challenge myself.
Yeah.
Because I think that through challenging myself, new opportunities have come. I mean, it wasn't easy, right? It might come to you easy, but you got to do research, you got to do your homework, right? And anything we do, we got to do our homework, what it takes to be in that position. And then, you execute.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it's worked out for me. You know, I don't shy away from a challenge.
Yeah, I love that, man, because there's opportunities that present themselves daily, and most people would have turned that one down and look to where it's leading now. And there's commentators like Skip Bayless making tens of millions, dude. So I can't wait to see where you take that.
Big money. Thank you, man. Right now, I'm doing it as a freelancer. I work here from time to time. I was just in Nicaragua working there. But, I mean, as you said, I mean, it's something that I can pick up well and make, a substantial amount of money. But overall, to be honest with you, this may sound bad, but I love my sport, but it comes so easy to me that I choose to do something a little different, a little more challenging, because I know that's when I will feel like a different level of success. When you do something, more fulfillment. It's like something new, something that was completely strange to you, right? It was foreign, and then you just became, very familiar with it. And at my age, it'd be fantastic. So hopefully, that's the wish.
Absolutely. We'll redo the outro, man. So where can people find you?
Tell me, hey, follow me on Jesse Vargas _ and thank you for your support. And I'm sure I'll see you around at some point.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, brother. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.